The release of The Batman is tantalizingly close.
And in this episode, I'll be telling you why this will be the greatest Dark Knight movie ever.
Holy hot take, Batman! On March the 4th, The Batman will be released, and it might even have been released by the time you're watching this. And for the longest time, my lad here has been saying,
I think Robert Pattinson is going to be the best Batman ever.
But since we've seen the trailer, the interviews that have come out, he thinks it's going to be the best Batman film ever.
I do. I genuinely do. Aside from, the buzz that we've all had. Have you ever been this hyped for a Batman film? Ask yourself that.
I don't know, maybe not.
I don't think anyone's ever been this hyped for a Batman film. Seriously.
Yeah, well, I am incredibly excited for this. Yeah. And you're going to massively talk it up. I'm going to be kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit, which I think also would be a great supervillain name. The Devil's Advocate.
Quite good, yeah.
So you're going to obviously big it up massively.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree, but I'm just going to try and throw some stuff at you to try and throw you off the course.
Okay. So like I said, I don't think anyone, me and you obviously included, have ever been this hyped up for a Batman film, ever. Yeah. Right, so let's look at just a quick brief history of obviously Batman of the early days. What was the first comic called?
Detective Comics, number 27, I think. Way back in 1939.
39. So obviously since then we've had the Batman TV series with, what was his name?
Adam West.
Adam West, of course. We've had Michael Keaton in Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns.
Who will be making a return in the Flash movie. He'll be back soon, so people are excited about that as well.
Yeah, then we had obviously the sort of Joel Schumacher era with Batman Forever, which I loved as a kid. Yeah. I absolutely loved Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. Yeah. Harvey Dent. And it was brilliant, and I loved it back then. Then obviously Batman and Robin. The Nipula era. Can I call it Nipula? The only suit with nipples, which was a massive mistake, wasn't it?
It should have been guns. If they're going to make nipples, make them guns or something.
Like Austin Powers?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't remember anyone ever being that hyped for those films either. I think it's always been seen as a bit cartoony, Batman. Yeah. Until, of course, the Nolan Trilogy came along, which changed for me the superhero movie landscape almost. I think it changed the way in which people saw a superhero film could be made. Obviously, the trilogy was massively successful, both critically and at the box office. I loved the trilogy.
Yeah.
I think probably my favourite of the trilogy is The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I think so.
With an outstanding performance from Heath Ledger, of course, and Christian Bale as Batman and Bruce Wayne. That's a brief history of Batman up to this point. Oh, then we had the Zack Snyder Batman vs Superman, Justice League. Again, good films.
Yeah.
I liked Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, a lot of people say it was the most comic accurate Batman.
Yeah, that's true. I think this one's going to be a pretty comic accurate Batman.
Yeah.
Taking influence from Year One, 0 Year, Ego. These are all comics that Matt Reeves has been influenced by. So there's a brief history, Gab. But like I said, none of those got me hyped like this has. And I don't think any of those are going to rival this one.
It's interesting. I think, when people think about Batman films and the best one, potentially, I think The Dark Knight. So my devil's advocate arguments are kind of going to be, well, is The Dark Knight going to be better? And, I mean, we've not seen the film, so this is all kind of conjecture, what we think is going to happen, what we think from the trailers. But the marketing, like you say, Chris, has been unbelievable. And you got to remember, this was all building up. Then we had COVID. It was supposed to be released last year. So they've had to really string it out. But it's been so good up until now.
And I think the hype is, even though, like you say, it's been strung out, which when we saw with Bond, I think it completely petered out, didn't it? The hype for Bond because of COVID. But with the Batman, it's just stayed constant the whole time. And if anything, it's built now to a fever pitch. And I'm mega excited. Like the first teaser we had of Pattinson in the suit with that red washed kind of footage and just... Boom, 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 boom. Michael Giacchino, I think, is the composer. It was just brilliant, guy. And seeing Pattinson, who's got the best jawline of any Batman ever, don't care what anyone says. He's
any
perfect.
man, I think.
I just think he's perfect for the role. I think he's going to be brilliant. I could eat my words, of course, but I genuinely don't think I'm going to. And I genuinely don't think that Matt Reeves and the cast think they're going to be eating their words. I think they're so confident in this film. Like, you look at the promotional material they've been doing recently. I saw an interview with the full cast on YouTube the other day, and they're all so well versed in the characters, so well versed in the story. Robert Pattinson wanted to be Batman guy. He wanted this role.
Yeah.
He's a student, a scholar of Batman. Yeah. Same with Paul Dano, same with Jeffrey Wright, same with, Colin Farrell's got into it. Zoe Kravitz, massively clued up on Catwoman. It's just, they just seem so confident. There's this air of confidence, I think, from the cast and the director that just says, we know this is shit hot and it's going to be ace.
And that's kind of my first fear. Because the last time I got hyped up was for the Spider-Man film that's just come out, No Way Home, because we're going to have all these 3 Spider-Men in it. It's going to be fantastic. And in some respects, I kind of was, no, I can't get hyped up. And then I did, because everyone went to the cinema and saw it probably a week before I did. And everyone saying was, don't believe the hype. It's better than the hype. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I get kind of get washed away with it. And I'm like, it was a good film, but the hype.
The thing is, as well, as you know full well, and I've said it on a previous episode, I've got superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
I've got maybe Marvel fatigue, Yeah. I'm just like, whatever. I watched the Eternals. It was absolute dog shit. And now I think DC are going to come with this bad boy. 3 hours plus runtime, and they're going to smash it out of the park, guy.
Yeah.
I got a feeling it's going to be maybe the best superhero film ever.
And that's a question for you. Is this a superhero film?
Well, you make an interesting point there, because in the classic way we've come to see a superhero film, probably not. It's more of a film noir detective story, I think. And that's the vibe that Matt Reeves has gone for, isn't it? He's gone for this Batman as the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
His early years, I think it's his second year as being the Batman, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think what I read was really interesting was, he's based kind of the Bruce Wayne character, this sort of rock star recluse almost, on a Kurt Cobain.
Right.
I read.
Okay.
So just all these little ingredients that are feeding into it for me just really get me excited about it, guy. And I really think this is going to be the first, or not the first, but one of the main superhero films, like they did with Joker, where it almost became more of an art house kind of critically acclaimed film.
Yeah.
I think it's going down that route rather than the popcorn. Scorsese's not going to be seeing his ass about this. He's not going to be seeing his ass about it, saying it's just like a fair-one ride.
We'll see. I don't know.
I don't think there's going to be any of that, because I think this vibe of the Batman is just totally different to what we've seen before, and that's what I'm really excited about. We're seeing Batman, who, by the way, Batman/Bruce Wayne is in nearly every single scene in this film.
Yeah.
So to come out with that beforehand tells me that they go, we know it's good. We know that Robert Pattinson is absolutely brilliant as Batman.
He better be good if he's in it.
That's
the
what
entire
it feels
film.
like, though. That's the confidence that they're giving me, guy.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me, and I'm just so pumped about it.
And talking about that kind of art house, almost like independent vibe of it, it's got the AMC artisan film kind of seal, which the Joker did.
Yeah. Only the only two. I mean, Joker's not really a superhero film, is it?
Exactly. Yeah.
But really the only superhero film to ever get that acknowledgement, if you will.
Yeah.
So I mean, that tells me from the off, guy, this is something special. This film.
But also on that list, Downton Abbey's also got that artisan thing.
Okay.
So
there's always one. It's always you.
So there you go. There's me devil's advocate started.
So going back to what I was saying about this world's greatest detective vibe, I think it's really important to do something different with the superhero film, and I think this is what this is doing. Yeah. It's going to be more like a detective thriller. It's going to be quite dark. I think there's going to be a kind of like almost like a Fincher vibe to it, like Seven. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or Mindhunter. I think there's almost going to be that vibe to it, guy. I'm dead excited to see a superhero within the confines of that way of telling the story. Yeah. Rather than, obviously there's going to be fight scenes, but rather than him being like, an absolute martial arts weapon, I think it's going to be rawer. I think it's going to be a bit scruffier, the fighting. It's not going to be as choreographed. It's going to be more raw, which obviously Dark Knight had. Yeah. And the Nolan Trilogy had quite a rawness to the fight scenes, but I think this is going to be even more so. Yeah. And like the trailers that we've seen, it does certainly give off that vibe. There's going to be the crash bang wallop element to it. Of course, yeah. To keep everyone kind of, it's a detective story, but it's going to have this extra layer, or the other way around, it's a superhero film, but it's got this detective story. So I think it's going to span quite a lot of genres, and it's going to get a lot of people interested in it. Because I think DC have always been criticised that, you should do what Marvel's doing. And that's kind of going popcorn. Let's try and get as many bums on seats. Will appeal to 5-year-olds to 55-year-olds. But this is pretty much, no,
we know what we want to do. This is for adults. We're not messing about here. This is going to be a serious film.
One of the things that stands out for me as well on this one is the strength of the cast. And I've mentioned a few cast members there, but obviously we've got Paul Dano as the Riddler, Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, if you will, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I think this is, I was going to say Gary Oldman. Jeffrey Wright as, he's not a commissioner at this point, is he?
No, he's not.
He's a lieutenant, I think, Lieutenant Gordon in the Gotham City Police Department. We've got Andy Serkis, of course, as Alfred Pennyworth.
Yeah.
So I think this is, for me, pound for pound, might be the strongest Batman cast as well.
You said this to me. What I quite like about Batman films, if you go right back as well, they do get a lot of good actors. But Batman films have good actors in it, and
100%.
Those actors generally have fantastic performances.
Yeah.
I would say that I have to disagree with you in terms of the overall cast. I think The Dark Knight and kind of that trilogy had better actors in it.
I know what you're saying, because I did think, when I thought about this, I thought, well, Batman Begins had a brilliant cast. Obviously, like we spoke about, Liam Neeson's in it, Ken Watanabe's in it. Obviously then going over to Dark Knight, you've still got Bale, of course, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And Heath Ledger, like is that the best ever sort of performance in a superhero film we've ever seen? It's got to be, right?
It's got to be up there.
And he's one of my favourites, Heath Ledger. He's in one of my favourite films, Brokeback Mountain. I named me bloody cat Ennis Del Mar, for Christ's sake. I've got a cat named after him.
So what I would say is that the way to almost judge a actor or a performance is by the awards. Now, Robert Pattinson has won a biggie. MTV's Big Kiss Award for Twilight.
I feel bad.
Whereas
Christian Bale has won an Oscar, mate, and he's got 3 nominations.
Listen, there is 100% Oscars in Pattinson's future, mate. I don't care what anyone says. And I'm telling you now, right, people take the piss out of Twilight. And this annoyed me when Pattinson was first announced as Batman. Because people were like, this guy's Batman, and they were showing pictures of Edward Cullen and all that. Well, first off, the first Twilight's a bloody good film. If you watch that film again, it's like a good indie flick, that film. It's not, it hasn't got, afterwards it became about getting their 6-packs out and all that kind of stuff.
Shining his face up.
Shiny face and all that stuff. But I like the films. I read the books. I like the books as well. But the first Twilight film is excellent, right? But judging Pattinson based on the fact that he was Edward Cullen is one of the biggest dick moves any film goer can really do, really pull off. Yeah. Because, look at the stuff the lad's done. I'll be honest, when I saw him in Harry Potter, I knew he was going to be a star. Yeah. You could just tell with some people. Yeah. And then he's gone on, obviously, Good Time is a great film. The Lighthouse, he's
unbelievable.
He's incredible in it, guy. The kid is so good.
Yeah.
And I think he's an absolute comedian. You hear him talk, and when you see him in an interview, you think, how's he going to do the Batman voice? Because he's very sort of well-spoken English lad, English guy. But we've seen him saying, I am vengeance or whatever.
I'm vengeance.
Well, I think I've heard that is overdubbed. That's not going to be his actual voice.
Really?
Because they really want to push it out. And he's going, I'm Batman! Just to really get it going. Just to make it really different.
That would be quite good, wouldn't it? Imagine my face in the cinema. Yeah. I'd be gutted. But listen, I can't say enough good things about Robert Pattinson. I think he's great. Remember Me is another good film. He's just...
And Tenet has just come out, hasn't it? Well,
of course, yeah.
And he kind of plays that kind of almost, not detective, but an action-y type guy, but also keeping it not built and bulk, but almost like a clever, I call him a clever action hero.
Yeah, and I think this is exactly what this Batman's going to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I could be more excited for it, because I think it's just going to flip the whole thing on its head. And I think Marvel are going to be looking at this and going, man, what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
If they're going to carry this on, are they going to, there's going to be sequels, spin-offs?
They're talking about it, aren't they? It's going to be a world, a universe. I think Marvel, they've always got this multiverse of madness and all this kind of different stuff, which will carry them over the next couple of years, I think. Then I'm kind of looking at going, what they're going to do? The X-Men and Fantastic Four will probably come back, but is that just almost getting to the end of Marvel's carousel?
And I think another feather in the cap for this film is that whole multiverse thing, is where Matt Reeves went, can I just do this as a standalone thing and not be in the universe? And DC have gone, okay, fine. Because obviously Ben Affleck was originally on board to direct, write and star in the Batman. And then he kind of decided through his personal problems and other commitments and whatnot that he didn't want to do it. And then obviously Matt Reeves petitioned for it and ended up getting the job and then writing it afresh. And he said, can I keep this out of that shared universe? And I think that's a great move. Because I think people are just like, well, hang on, I can't keep up with this. It's like that meme, innit, with, what's his face off Charlie, is it Charlie Day?
Yeah.
When he's like this with all the strings in the background or whatever, like trying to figure out what's going on. It's like that sometimes with Marvel. You're thinking, well, how does this connect into that? How does that connect into that? I think people are a bit pissed off of it, and a bit sick of it, and they just want to see a bloody good film. I was going to swear then. I almost swore they want to see a bloody good film on the screen, where they don't have to be a detective themselves to figure out what the balls is going on.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Now, I will pull something up. You talked about Matt Reeves a fair bit now. Now, it's not a worry, it's a slight concern. Is he the man for this job?
Yeah.
He's not done this type of thing before.
No.
It's a big blockbuster film. Now, he's done some stuff, hasn't he? Obviously, Cloverfield. I would say the success of that, though, was really from J.J. Abrams' marketing machine.
Yeah.
It was a good film, and it was different, which is good. He's done Let Me In, which is a remake.
Really good, though.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. And a couple of the Planet of the Apes films, the kind of the remakes, which are good. They're fine. They're fine. Like them. But you kind of then you roll into this and you think, I'm not sure.
Yeah. CV wise, you're sort of going, oh God, has he got the kahunas for this one? But I think from looking at the trailer, looking at all the stuff that we've seen so far, I think, like I said, looking at interviews with the cast and all that kind of thing, how invested they all are, I think he definitely has proven himself to be the man for the job, at least this far. Obviously, when we see the full film, that could change.
Yeah.
But what a set of bollocks on him, guy. To go, do you know what? I'm going to take this film, I'm going to ask him to get it out of the shared universe. I'm going to sort of almost abandon the comfort blanket of that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make my own film, and it's going to be 3 hours long, in your face.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3 hours long. Have some of that. Doesn't give a shit, guy. And I think that's great. And I think that's what fills me with this confidence, that they know they've got gold with this.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite Batman, then?
Best Batman? It's obviously Christian Bale. Robert Pattinson is the best Batman.
Currently, it is Christian Bale, I got to say. I think he is a fantastic actor, and he kind of goes over and above in terms of his body, the way he handles his body. Like going from The Machinist a year later to play Batman, it's like unreal what he's done there.
Because I did think, I was sort of, when I was thinking about, like I say, Pattinson being the best Batman, I thought to myself, well, at this point in their careers when they became a Batman, was there any actor that had got a better CV than Pattinson at that point? And then I did think, well, Bale with The Machinist and all that kind of thing, it's just, his list of accolades is as long as your arm, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he is just, he's one of the generation's best actors, isn't he?
Yeah.
He really is one of the GOATs, I think. But in this role, I think R-Patz is going to eclipse him.
Yeah, we'll see.
I genuinely do.
Like I say, I have been playing Devil's Advocate. I am very, very excited for this. And I'm sure you guys are. Let us know on social media what you think about it. Are you excited, or do you think they should be doing something like Marvel? I hope not, because the type of people that we want us to be talking to us will enjoy something like this. While you're here, obviously, on YouTube, if you hit that subscribe button, that'd be fantastic. Like it, share it with your friends and family. It'd be brilliant.
Be brilliant. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.